Hey everyone, DQRDC here. I am here in my datapack showcase world, which I have updated to Minecraft 26.1, along with a handful of data and resource packs. As you can see from my face, V's has been updated to 26.1, so your animated entity textures should still be working. I've also updated the Enchanted Elytra and Aviator Helmet datapack, and the Dice datapack, as well as the Advanced Archery datapack from my previous world that I haven't ported over to this world yet. One datapack that I am not intending on updating is Mutagenic Menagerie, which is a datapack I made last year that added a ton of different variants and a ton of fun things to do with those variants. But with the tiny takeover update, I did not feel like making 150 new textures for baby entities. So I've decided to take some of the features from that pack, like this floating sand here, and port them into their own smaller individual data packs, which is what I will be showcasing today. So this data pack, as you can see, adds the ability to create floating sand, along with a bunch of other different gravity blocks. So by taking your gravity block and placing 4 of them around a slime ball, you get a slimy version of that block. This works for sand, concrete powder, and gravel. And with this block, it works like a normal block, except when you place it in the world, it does not trigger any block updates. So for the gravity blocks, that means they don't immediately fall when placed. So you can bridge out with them, you can tower out with them, but then as soon as they receive a normal block update, they will fall like normal. I've created a little showcase area over on the other side of this bay to show a few things that can be done with this, but this is definitely not an exhaustive list of everything this pack can do. The most obvious thing you can do is just have architecture that uses sand in impossible ways, with overhangs over open air. This is of course pretty fragile because if there's, any update applied to any of these blocks, the entire castle will just fall in on itself. But there are a handful of other things you can do with this. One of the obvious uses is your basic sand trap, where if you stand on the pressure plate, you will fall to your doom. This is pretty easy to create with just some sand, a piece of TNT, and a single pressure plate. To get the TNT in the middle, you do need to branch out and have that placed first. Once that's placed, you can put all of your slimy blocks around it. And because this block has TNT underneath it supporting it, placing the pressure plate on top of it doesn't cause the blocks to fall in. And then you can just continue building out however big of an area you need. This doesn't require any signs or any other blocks holding the sand up. The sand is just held in place and will fall as soon as it gets any sort of block update. So in some ways it's a bit less stable than something supported by signs, because breaking any block will cause the entire thing to cave in. But it is a bit faster to put together once you have the slimy blocks. Another little feature of this is with concrete powder. Since it doesn't trigger any block updates when placed, it does not immediately convert to concrete if placed in water. This can be used for decorative purposes or whatever else you want, but it can also be used as a one-shot instant redstone line, because once any of these blocks get a block update, the entire chain will convert into concrete. And finally, you can of course create just little standalone bits of floating blocks that aren't supported by anything else. This can be achieved by adding support blocks to the side of a chain. So if I start here and make a little tower, and tower over, I can then place a block underneath this one, and now this block is technically supported by this block, so I can remove this piece that was originally holding it up, and now I have some blocks that are floating in midair, not supported by anything. So yeah, a handful of uses. These are just the ones that I was able to put together quickly, though I'm sure, especially with things like the instant redstone, or another side effect is that since it doesn't trigger a block update, did not come prepared. Since placing the block doesn't trigger a block update, placing it in front of an observer doesn't cause it to go off, which I'm sure doesn't have any sort of exploits in the redstone world. But yeah, these are just the things that I was able to come up with off the top of my head. I'm sure that there's a lot more uses for something like this, and even if there's not anything really useful, it can still be fun just to have these absurd, impossible Minecraft builds. But yeah, that is it for now. Just a quick update on the status of some of the packs in Minecraft 26.1, and a quick little look at this small little Vanilla Plus floating sand data pack. That's all for now, and I hope to see you all in the future.